Hi there, my name is Mallory and this is I Wonder About Things. Welcome and thank you so much for hitting the listen button. Have you ever wondered about things like why people say cheese when they're posing for a picture or why Wednesday Addams is named after a day? I have. And I want freaking answers. So every Wednesday, I'll sit on here at my desk and do my best to provide you with a great, informative podcast episode. In I Wonder About Things, I will answer all the questions that have been on my mind, even the weirdest ones. In case you missed last week's episode, I talked about the stages and evolution of English as the most spoken language in the United States. And remember, I also shared that rumor that says that German had almost become the country's official language, and that was really interesting to learn where that came from. Today is a bit special because I will finally answer one of the oldest questions I've been asking myself. Why people say cheese when they're posing for a picture? Yes, where did that come from? Do we say something different in other countries? I'm dying to share all my findings with you all. Let's be honest, at first I wasn't sure about this episode because it's so obvious that by saying cheese, most people form their mouth into what appears to be a smile-like shape, but there's a little bit more than that, so let's start. We can all anticipate the infamous say cheese before the camera clicks, right? And we all probably answer with a sly smile and the word cheese in return to the photographer. But do you know where the phrase actually comes from? Well, it looks like it first appeared in the 1940s. At least it was first referenced in 1943 in the Big Spring Herald, which is a local Texas newspaper, and it printed an article with the phrase say cheese. However, nobody is entirely sure who came up with it or why, but most people think just hearing the word makes you smile. And on top of that, and you can try it, when you make the ch sound, the teeth clench, and when you make the long E sound, your lips part, so it kind of looks like a smile. But we haven't always smiled in photographs. No, 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 no. And instead of saying cheese, people used to say something else. And can you guess what? Well, let's go back in history. In the 19th century, so you know that the history of photography is recent. And in the 19th century, people kept their faces neutral as it was considered beautiful and dignified. And you can imagine, these were not the only reasons, right? Back then, dental care was not a top priority, and most individuals didn't want to show a mouthful of broken or missing teeth, and that's something I can understand. So people were reluctant to smile, especially the older people, because of the appearance of their teeth. And there were few opportunities to receive dental care in the 19th century, and the most common form of treatment for a broken or rotten tooth was to simply put it. So it's likely that those who had damaged or missing teeth hoped to snap pictures with the mouth closed. Second of all, well, today cameras are everywhere and people don't think twice about taking or posing for pictures. But for people living over a century ago, that was not the case. And you know, a portrait session was a kind of privilege which was treated with great seriousness, as having your picture taken was far more expensive and more rare. And at the time, it could have been considered, well, what's the word, improper to grin during such a formal event, as they might not have had their photos taken frequently throughout their lifetime. And moreover, due to the high cost of photographs, people only posed for one or two throughout their life. So you had to be really serious about it. But that's not the only reason people didn't smile for photos, though. For one, it took several hours for cameras to capture the photograph in the first place. And as you can imagine, it's tough to stay still for that long. So you can imagine smiling and not change your expression for like 15 minutes. Just try. It's really hard. And it was difficult to get adults to remain still for like 15 minutes, let alone children. Therefore, photographers established a few basic guidelines for taking pictures. No talking, no smiling, because people would tire out and change their expression and just ruin the picture, the daguerreotype. However, in the early 20th century, photography had become much faster and cheaper and much more casual. So people were also taking better care of their teeth. And still, it took some time for the say cheese expression to emerge. And photographers actually used another word, another food, instead of saying cheese. People had to say prunes, which is quite fun, I think. And apparently, this helped keep people's mouth prim, according to the Washington Post. And I also found out that, Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, the twins, they have reportedly used the same trick, so saying prunes for pictures, for years in order to present their pout to the paparazzi. So afterwards, the say cheese or the cheese phrase became popular along with photography. The technology became more accessible to people and photos were more spontaneous and they captured candid smiles and people began to prefer amateur photos and which capture their everyday life and their joyful expressions. So that's it for Say Cheese. I didn't have much information about it, but I thought that it was worth an episode and it was very interesting to find out about it. Last but not least, I wanted to say that other languages use the same trick to make the people smile during photographs, but with different words that sound similar to cheese. Like, for example, in most Latin American countries, apparently they say whiskey, and, with the long E sound at the end, just like cheese. And in France, we say cheese, but we also say whistiti, which is marmoset. And in Germany, they have food-related words like spaghetti, for example, and obviously kimchi in Korea. Even if that was a short episode, I hope you liked it, and I think it was great to find out about that say cheese phrase that a lot of people say and all the background. Also, I wanted to tell you that it's the end of season 1, so only 6 episodes, but I'm going to take a little break from I Wonder About Things, and I will come back very soon with lots of answers to questions I've been asking myself for years, and I can't wait to share all my findings with you. Thank you so much, and if you liked today's episode and want to support me, you can hit the subscribe button so you can listen to I Wonder About Things anywhere, anytime, and not miss the future notifications. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye!